the Edgenuity lesson, Introduction to Quadratic Functions. So to be a quadratic function, you have to have the biggest exponent, or the degree, it would be a 2. So it's anything that has an x squared in it. If there's anything bigger than that, so if you had like an x cubed, it's no longer a quadratic function. And if it doesn't have a variable squared, then it is also not a quadratic function. So looking at example 1, it says identify a, b, and c. So a is the number in front of x squared, b is the number in front of what I call the plane x, and then c is your constant. That's the value that has no variable attached to it. So looking at this first one, a is the number in front of x squared, b is the number in front of the plane x. Make sure you pay attention because this sign goes with it. So since it's -4, this is a -4. And then c is your constant, the value that has no variable. On the second one here, a is the number in front of x squared. So since there's nothing there, remember there's an imaginary 1 that's right there. B is the number in front of the plane x. Well, if you notice, there is no plane x. It's just an x squared and a constant. So what that means is the number in front of the plane x here had to have been a 0 to cancel it out. And then the constant is a +12. Example 2 says write in standard form. So there's a couple of questions on the quiz where they say identify the leading coefficient, but it is not written in standard form. So if you remember, you have to start with your biggest exponent and then count down from there. So our biggest exponent is this x squared. So if I wanted to write this in standard form, it has to go first. So keep the number attached with it, so -3x squared, then just a plane x, +2x, +4. So then now I can identify the leading coefficient is this -3 right there. So make sure they don't trick you with that. Put it in standard form before you say what the leading coefficient is. For the next one, it says find f of -3. So what that means is we're just going to replace all the x's in here with a -3. It's always a good idea to use parentheses, especially when you have negatives. If you're someone who ever struggles with the order of operations with things like this, what I suggest you do is just type that in your calculator exactly the way it looks. And it will just figure it out for you. But again, make sure you use parentheses. So this is just 1. As a reminder, when I plugged in this -3 over here, there's no math that happens over here. This is just telling the story, essentially, of what you did. You took function f and you plugged in -3, and then you just evaluated over here.